Well, everyone, today we are in rural Kiambu County, in Gatundu South constituency, and actually I'm next to Nembu Catholic Church, and our intention is to explore 3 towns in the area and see what's up. Let me quickly show you where we are in the map, and you can see Ruiru town is not very far from here. Actually, it's only 22-minute drive, which is about 17 kilometers from Ruiru town. And the fact that Nembu has a village ambience is already fascinating. We're gonna hit our first town in a few seconds, and before we do so, please show some love by subscribing to our channel, Village to Town, a channel that is dedicated to continue showcasing beautiful villages, towns, and cities across the continent of Africa. Our first town is in vicinity, Mutati Town, and I wonder why the town is only one-sided, because it's only on my left. It seems like an old town, and I wonder why it has taken a lot of time to sprang on the other side of the road, despite being along the tarmac. Well, just let's go to the town center and explore it. Guess the first thing we see, the Black Africa Bar. Well, it's not open. I guess people stopped drinking a long time ago. It's quite fascinating. It's an old town, and it reminds me of the good old days where towns in rural Kenya were quite small and everyone knew everybody. You can see the first open shop in the town. Well, I don't know what they're selling. There's a bunch of people sitting around. Well, it's a general merchandise shop where you can literally get anything from the farmware, shoes, clothes, kitchenware, and everything. Such small businesses are popular in rural Africa, where you find one businessman selling literally everything. Apart from the shop, it seems like everything else is in ruins, and I wonder what happened to this once thriving town. The fact that there are story buildings in the town shows that the town was once lively and businesses were thriving. Remember, this is part of central Kenya, where everyone is in one way or the other associated with businesses, as there is a common fallacy around Kenya that most Kikuyu people have a business acumen. We are back to the tarmac, and we want to hit our next town. And one thing that you're gonna give to this area is good roads. Well, I find this to be quite beautiful, and kudos to local leaders for good lobbying and development. Before we get to our next town in less than a minute, I've just spotted this school on my left, which is Nembu Girls High School, and I think they have a function. That's why there are so many cars on the road. There is also a primary school next to the high school, and it seems like they share a common playing field, which is probably due to limited space, which is a common issue I have discovered here in Kiambu, which results from the fact that this is the second most populated county in the country from Nairobi, and therefore land scarcity is a major issue. It is also good to acknowledge that this area has produced 2 serving presidents in the Republic of Kenya. That means that out of the 5 presidents the Republic has ever had, 2 are produced by Gatundu South. This might explain why all the roads are well maintained, and trust you me, from what I've seen, 95% of all the roads in Gatundu South are tarmacked. As we explore Nembu town, let me give you a quick demographic facts about the area. The constituency had a population of 122,000 people as of 2019 general census, with a population density of 630 people per square kilometer. And the Kenya Bureau of Statistics suggests that the area's annual population change per annum is 1.2%. Well, that tells you that by the next general census, the area aggregate population will have increased by about 10%. Out of the 122,000 people, 61.7 thousand are female, while 60.3k are male. That's a quite interesting gender distribution, as the 2 major gender groups are almost equal, with the females forming a majority by only 1%. In terms of age distribution, 60% are aged between 15 and 64 years, and only that 1% are children aged 14 and below. That also a quite interesting piece of statistics there, especially when you compare to other areas around the city where we have been to, where children form the majority of the population. Well, this is also below the national average, which is estimated at 37.8%. And so if you come from this area, I think it is good to tell us why you people are not having kids. Another interesting fact about the area is that only 560 people are aged 90 and above in the entire constituency. That means that the older population is shrinking, while the younger population is not increasing at a very high rate, meaning that although Gatundu population is increasing, it is doing so at a diminishing rate. Let me not bug you with statistics. Well, sometimes I get carried away by the numbers and move to our next town, which actually is in Githunguri constituency. Actually, the two constituencies are neighboring each other, and our next rural town, it's only less than a kilometer away. Githunguri constituency is also in Kiambu County, and it is one of the 12 constituencies in the most populous county in Mount Kenya, and it is popular for dairy farming. Coffee farming is also a major economic activity in the constituency, which is also the case for Gatundu South. And I'm told that because coffee used to bring a lot of money to farmers, especially in the 70s and 80s, it is one of the major reasons why we have dying towns around the area. You will notice that most buildings in these towns are old, meaning that 30 to 40 years ago, most people had enough money to build shops, start businesses, and thrive, which is not the case anymore. Of course, this came with the fall of the coffee industry, which affected most farmers in this area and all the people that depended on the industry across the country. We are now approaching Kibichoi town, and it is quite big, especially when compared to the other two that we have already visited, and I hope to see some changes. The town is in Komodhai ward, which has a population of 34,000 people, where 17,000 are male, while their female counterparts are also 17,000. This is quite fascinating as the two genders are equal, which is a rare phenomenon across the country, as the female population tends to be more. According to the KBS, the entire constituency had a population of 165,000 as of 2019, in a total area of 174 kilometers squared. This means that the population density is 947 people per square kilometer, which is a bit higher when compared to the neighboring Gatundu South, which had a population density of 630 per square kilometer. The annual population change is only 1.1%, while the age distribution is almost similar to that of Gatundu South. For instance, those aged 14 and below makes 30.8% of the total population, while those aged 90 and above are only 755 in the entire constituency. In terms of real estate, well, the area is a bit squeezed, but most people are homeowners, and only a few choose to rent houses, especially outsiders, such as business owners, and professionals such as doctors and teachers. To buy an acre of land, you will need between 7 million and 10 million Kenya shillings, which is between 50,000 and 75,000 US dollars. In terms of movement, well, the town is only 17.3 kilometers from Ruiru, and it is also only 45 minutes away from Nairobi city, which is about 42 kilometers, while the roads are perfect, meaning that if you are a local investor, this is a place that you should consider. In terms of social amenities, well, the area is well endowed, as the ward has the highest number of high schools that I've ever seen in rural Kenya. The 7 high schools include Komodhai Boys and Komodhai Girls. We have Kibichoi, Gathiroine, Kieraine, Gathima, and Kigumo. Well, I have to admit that although I'm conversant with the local language, these places have funny names. Please continue watching the scenic video, write to us, tell us what you think about the video, and if you come from this area, drop a fact or two about your hood in the comment section below. And if you have watched the video this far, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, support us so that we can grow together. I'm also super grateful to all the new subscribers I'm really thankful, and may the Almighty God bless you abundantly. Don't forget to like the video so that it can be recommended to as many people as possible. Smash the notification bell so that every time we post, you'll be among the first few people to be notified. Thank you.